Through the ages we have moved among you, often working in solitude, in moments of stolen time, in the night. Now, finally, we're reinventing our art for the modern age. Out of our hands, the future of embroidery is conjured. For those who have heard the call, it is our time. Equally, men and women, young and old, artist and crafter, each connecting, inspiring, educating, opening a conversation about history and folklore, art and freedom of expression, nature and death. Each living a life with a needle and thread as the crucial component for exploring our world. For my part in this revolution, I'm creating Sinister Stitch, 13 ancient poisons in mixed media embroidery, revealing the killers in our yards, in our homes, and exploring the legends that, at the hands of wise women, these Sinisters were invoked to protect, to heal, and to destroy. I'm Victoria Crowder Payne of freedomofstitch.com. These are the Sinister Stitch Chronicles.
The reason that I say the Sinister Stitch project is not just an art project. It's not just a documentary about how you make art. It's very much about life and how creativity tethers us to ourselves and to the things that matter. And when you come down to the very base of what it means to be human, Sinister Stitch has a lot to say about fighting the battles that we fight and coming out on the other side, not just with ourselves, but with something really remarkable to share.
I was really lucky when I was in the hospital at North Kansas City that a wonderful sonogram technician became fascinated with something that was happening in or over my right kidney. He spent a long time scanning over and over and over my side, looking at something. Of course, they can't tell you anything. They're not allowed to say anything. But I could tell that he saw something.
Well, we seem to have hit a little snag.
So, when the doctor in charge of my case was looking over whether or not he should release me after they had done blood work and scans, Scanapalooza, he called all of the techs and the doctors together, and they went over my case line by line.
Sinister Stitch essentially grows in a few key ways. First of all, there's the Sinister Stitch Chronicles, which is the video series. It comes into the studio, into the process, and helps explain how this big series came to be. Sinister Stitch, the exhibit, is the entire body of work as one unit. It includes all of the smaller pieces, which began with the Mandrake, and include Monk's Hood and Wolfsbane and Hemlock and Hellbore, and all of the other male figures in the Poison Pantheon. And the entire Sinister Stitch group is anchored by the Womandrake, who is the large personification in the female form of the Mandrake root. She's the only female in the series. Then there's the online diary. The diary essentially documents in still pictures and kind of a blog style reflection on what's happening. And then the sketchbooks are an added component. Because I teach mixed media stitched books online, and I also run those workshops locally, I have a huge resource of ways to work mixed media embroidery into a book format. That's essentially where the magic really happens. So all of those components together comprise the entire year-long project and will capture some independent aspect of it, which is singular, but is very much part of the whole. I was here in bed. This is my side. This is my bed. Nothing like a camera in the bedroom. My first dream was really deeply unsettling in the way that nightmares really affect you and stay with you for days afterwards. And from the foot of the bed, I saw the dimensional leaves, which are worked in a woven picot stitch so that they curl and stand up off of the piece. And I saw those at the foot of the bed first. And then slowly, these eyes rose as if the form was just floating up. There she is at the foot of the bed. She had to assert herself, and suddenly she was just there, like a big open mouth right in front of me, and she poisoned me. She sprayed me with this pollen-like pink substance and just squirted me, and it was like acid. I just immediately dissolved. And I remember waking myself up absolutely terrified, just freaking out. And that feeling stayed with me for days. As I think back over these dreams and the way that the plants are revealing themselves to me, I recognize that they're becoming very real. The characters and their particular personalities are emerging with their own stories, with their own inclinations. They're starting to interact with me, and I am taking my cues from them. Here we are at the scene of the Womandrake. Her fabric has been in the frame for approximately 5 months now, sitting here in the sitting room like you do, because I was too freaking sick to work on her. So I lovingly pinned some leaves on the fabric to remind me what in the heck I was doing, because in my stupor I had no idea. And periodically I come in and sit and look at the fabric in different light and just listen to what it wants to be. Ha! Holy y'all! There she is! Oh. Wow. I think I'm gonna cry. Wow. Okay. Holy crap. Oh my god. Wow. You have to understand, I have thought about this for so long. She's been in my head and in my dreams, and I've been looking at this blank freaking canvas and my sketch of her and thinking and trying to imagine and wishing and hoping that I could get to this stage where I could finally start and be moving and and capture all of this stuff that's in my head in order that I can share it and teach it. And so I started yesterday, sitting right here, trying to enlarge the original sketch, and it took like 8 tries just to get her big enough that she would hold her own on such a big space. So I sat down this morning here with you and started sketching again. And you know, that's the coolest thing about art and drawing and stitching in particular, because you absolutely get lost in the lines, in what you see in your mind's eye and what's happening through your hand on the page, and then the act of sketching, of putting a line down and looking at it in relation to the form, and then moving that line slightly to the left or to the right, and then the line that you want is actually in the middle, and so then erasing, taking away, and adding back line. That is the coolest discovery. If you can just go with your hand and follow the lines and find where the line needs to be, guys, then you get your thing. And it's so cool.
Oh.
I'm gonna fall over. Yeah, hey.
And they went over my case line by line. And finally decided that the sonogram tech had nailed it, that there was something over my kidney. They identified it as an adrenal mass. And after my friend Google and I spent some time cruising the internets, I found that it's a very, very rare mass that forms in the adrenal and can cause headaches and really high blood pressure and nausea and extreme fatigue. Hello, every single thing that I have had for the past years. But my primary doctor was not convinced. So he referred me to a urologist, which my friend Google and I discovered was actually a urological oncologist. I don't think I need to tell you what kind of fear that gave me.